Warm greetings. Today, we are going to start with our very first chapter of Flamingo, the last lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet. So first, let us know a little bit about the author. Alphonse Daudet was born in the year 1840 in France. He had died in 1897. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist and short story writer. Formerly a school teacher, he quit it to make a living as a journalist in Paris. He took to writing his poems collected into a volume called Les Amoureux, a pictorial reference of the author. Let's have a brief of the lesson in a glance. The last lesson. The prose The Last Lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet, narrates about the year 1870 when the Prussian forces under Bismarck attacked and captured France. The French district of Alsace and Lorraine went into Prussian hands. The new Prussian rulers discontinued the teaching of French in the schools of these two districts, namely Alsace and Lorraine. The French teachers were hence asked to leave. Students, let us know about the Franco-Prussian War. We must have an idea about the Franco-Prussian War and about Germany's decision to paint the backdrop of the story with the color of the pain of losing one's land and one's native. So let's go by the reading. The Franco-Prussian War or Franco-German War, often referred to in France as the War of 1870, was a conflict between the Second French Empire and later the Third French Republic and the German states of the North German Confederation led by the Kingdom of Prussia, lasting from 19 July 1870 to 28 January 1871. The conflict was caused by Prussian ambitions to expand German unification and French fears of the shift in European balance of power that would result if the Prussians succeeded. A pictorial summary of the Franco-Prussian War. Let you people know a little about it. A long period of French rule ended in 1871 after the Franco-Prussian War. The war pitted France against Germany, which had only recently become a unified nation and was still often called Prussia, the name of the most powerful kingdom in the new nation. Thus Germany annexed Alsace and the adjoining region of Lorraine. It is at this time that the events of the last lesson unfold. Children, let us know about the Germany's decision. The German states proclaimed their union as the German Empire under the Prussian War Wilhelm I, finally uniting most of Germany as a nation-state, where Austria was excluded. The Treaty of Frankfurt of 10th May 1871 gave Germany most of Alsace and some parts of Lorraine, which became the imperial territory of Alsace and Lorraine. The German conquest of France and the unification of Germany upset the European balance of power that had existed since the Congress of Vienna in 1815, and Bismarck maintained great authority in international affairs for 2 decades. French determination to regain Alsace-Lorraine and fear of another Franco-German war, along with British apprehension about the balance of power, became factors in the causes of World War I. Alsace and Lorraine was taken away by Germany from France by winning over the latter. The region of Alsace was located in northeastern France on the border with Germany. The region of Alsace has strong cultural ties to both the nations. Let us have a glimpse of the beginning of the story. Franz's life in the beginning. Franz is afraid of going to school as he has not learned participles. Now students, you must know why was he to learn participles. It was so because M. Hamel had given them a homework to complete, and this man, M. Hamel, their teacher, was an extremely strict person with a cranky nature that would eat their temper up. But you know these little children? These children would just not choose to do their homeworks, and hence he didn't learn participle. Instead, he wanted to enjoy the beauty of nature. He wanted not to go to school and instead have fun inside the warm, bright sunshine, under the sound of the birds chirping in the woods and around the Prussian soldiers drilling. But he resisted himself. Let us have a glimpse of one of the localities of Alsace-Lorraine during war. The last lesson is set in the days of the Prussian War, in which France was defeated by Prussia, as we had discussed before. It was led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In the story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Now let us know what all did the bulletin board comprise. The bulletin board consisted of all the bad news, lost battles, the drafts and orders of commanding officers. Now while Franz was moving to the school, on his way came a crowd. He was confused by seeing the crowd, and so Franz had a question within himself. What might be the crowd around the bulletin board lead to? He wondered what could it be? What bad news might create a new upheaval now? The changes that Franz noticed in the school. Instead of noisy classrooms, everything was as quiet as Sunday morning. The teacher does not scold him and told him very kindly to go to his seat. To his amazement, it was M. Hamel who was speaking so sweetly to him. The teacher was dressed in his Sunday best. The villagers had occupied the last benches. A question rose in Franz's mind. What were the villagers doing in their classroom? To pay tribute to M. Hamel for his 40 years of sincere service, and also to express their solidarity with Franz, the old and young men were sitting quietly at the last benches. M. Hamel made the announcement that would be their last French lesson. This made Franz realize that was what was put up on the bulletin board. M. Hamel's state of mind was not proper. It is the last day of their French teacher, M. Hamel, who has been there for 40 years. He is full of grief, nostalgia, and patriotism. As a mark of respect to his hard work, the village men also attended his last lesson. They are sad now, as they did not learn their mother tongue, French, in their childhood. Franz feels bad for all the hours that he has lost. Franz is shocked to know that it's his last lesson, as he does not know French. Now suddenly he gets interested in learning it and understands everything taught on that day. He develops an instant liking for the teacher, M. Hamel, and respects him for his sincerity and hard work. He feels sad at departing from him and is ashamed for not being able to recite the lesson of participles. Realization strikes people hard. What was Franz's realization? Franz realizes that he does not know his own mother tongue. He regretted why he had not taken his lesson seriously. Also, he realizes the reason why teacher was dressed in his Sunday best and villagers sitting at the back. On the other hand, what was Mr. M. Hamel's realization? Hamel realizes that all three, the children, the parents, and he himself, are to be blamed for losing respect and regard for the mother tongue. Franz wonders sarcastically if Prussians could force pigeons too to coo in German. What a sarcasm. Finally, perhaps such might also happen. Life was becoming tougher for the French people. Children, the other half of the video will explain the later part.